Welcome to the Resellers Not So Late Show with your host, BaldyPal, and co-host, Gary, featuring tonight's guest, Flippy McFlipperson. And now, here's your host, BaldyPal. Hey there, everybody. How are y'all doing tonight? We got Gary with us and our new guest, Flippy McFlipperson. How are y'all doing tonight, guys?
Doing good.
Doing good. Glad to be here.
Excellent. Gary, I can already tell you might have a little bit of internet issue because you're freezing a little bit.
Huh.
That's a good way to start, you know?
Yeah, you know.
Your audio is perfect.
A little bit chillier, a little bit more chilly outside than it has been the last couple of days. But today was pleasant. You know, nice 65 degrees here, the great state of Alabama. So I can't complain.
It was. Yesterday froze for some reason.
It was cold.
Yes.
It
was
Flippy
and windy.
Cold and windy. What was your temperature today?
It ended up being in the 60s. Yeah, nice and sunny this afternoon. Rain this morning.
I love that. I hate the cold, then the hot, then the cold, then the hot. But I love it when it stays hot.
Exactly.
Where are you from, Evan?
South Carolina, Lexington, South Carolina.
Okay. I should have already guessed that. Everybody in South Carolina is. I mean, I think we've just 9 out of 10 guests on this show are from South Carolina. So
it's amazing the amount of resellers that are here, and the fact that I can still find stuff.
Right. Whereabouts in South Carolina?
In Lexington, right in the middle of the state.
Oh, okay, cool. I know a lot of folks we've interviewed before from the Columbia area and stuff like that. So,
Yep, right beside Columbia.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any other YouTubers that shop your same stores?
Well, you guys had Wyatt on Rewilded Reselling,
right?
Yep.
And everybody knows Josh, Harry Tornado.
Yep.
I've seen Dante at Dream Deals, Prison of Profits. So there's several.
Oh man, you either have to drive in a different direction or get there super early, right?
No, I mean there's
plenty to choose from, right?
Yeah.
Good deal. Well, hey, let me ask you this. What is the one thing you're always looking for? What do you pop in when you go to the store? What is the first section you go to?
Probably shoes. Probably shoes and hard goods. Yeah.
Nice.
Men's shoes, I assume?
No, not necessarily. Women's athletic shoes, men's athletic shoes, men's dress shoes. Pretty much anything. Yeah.
And so the shoes, they draw you in, you pick up what are your average prices? $6, $10, $15?
Our Goodwill shoes are $6.50 for shoes and $8.50 for boots.
That's not bad at all.
That's not bad at
all. Wow.
And then there's one place to go to that shoes are $2.
$2?
$2. You have to. They're kind of few and far between when you can find something.
I got so frustrated this week, Gary. I went into the Goodwill on Macon, and they had 3 pair of really nice looking Air Force Ones, all the same size, and they wanted $25 a pair.
Ouch.
Of course they did. You know, they think that we're in Los Angeles or something like that. Yeah.
We got a few early birds. We got Josh. He says he's wanting to test the internet in his shed again. I'm glad he chose our show to do it. What's up, buddy?
It works. Good job.
Yeah. We got Ken from SSK Promo. Evening, everyone. Thanks for coming out, buddy. And we got Brian showing up from Borson and Tasha Wheeling and Dealing. Thanks for coming out once again, my friend. Y'all hang out a little bit longer, and we'll have a game tonight between Gary and Evan so that Gary can try to recuperate from last week's dreadful loss against Jimmy and Jeff. I just telling you, Gary, I hope you brought your game tonight.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I had to sort of get myself into a good frame of mind after the drubbing I took last time. So yeah.
You didn't find yourself in fetal position in the corner crying, did you?
I'm not going to tell anybody if I did.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I did the trivia last time, and I was pretty close to the bottom of the barrel on that one.
Did you find it hard? I mean,
harder than I thought it was going to be. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, what decade did you grow up in? What decade did you go to high school in? I should say
90s. Yeah. So I should fit right in.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought that would be a good decade.
Yeah.
Well, let's go for our first lightning round question, Evan. You ready for this? It's the one we ask everybody, so you should know what's coming up. Okay. iPhone or Android, my friend?
Android.
Why?
That's what I've always had.
Yeah.
There you go. Yep.
Never even I like that. I will accept your answer because if I'll believe a lot of people who are using the iPhone, if they tasted the Android, they might actually stay, and they don't like that idea, so they just stick with their iPhone.
Taste from the poison well. You drink from the poison well. It's all downhill from there.
Hey, Gary, Brian said crying's okay. It's okay. You don't have to worry about it.
Sometimes, yeah.
Well, good deal, man. So, okay, next lightning question. If the zombie apocalypse is upon us, aside from your family, because we know we're going to save our family, what 3 people, living, dead, celebrity or not, would you choose to be on your zombie killing team?
My zombie killing team?
Yeah. Your survival zombie killing team.
My buddy that lives down the street because he's got more guns than I can count.
Okay.
He'd be at the top of the list. You said no family.
No, well, I assume you're going to bring your family.
Yeah,
so
of course.
Other than your family.
Let's see. Man, that's hard.
Gary, what do you think?
Well, we can take Gary because he's got that awesome Jeep. He can get us where we need to go.
Oh, he just wants to make your point.
Yes. I will join your team. I will join your team. Yeah.
Boris says that Keanu Reeves.
Oh yeah. Have you ever seen Keanu Reeves actually do like 3-gun competitions and all the shooting competitions he does? The dude is phenomenal. Like, yeah, he puts in work. So I did
see some of the videos. I don't know. They said it was about his John Wick training. And he was just nailing it, man.
Yep.
It was crazy.
So
I think I would take Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Young Arnold.
Young Arnold from Predator.
Yeah, not old Arnold. It's like,
I would take young Arnold from Predator. And I'm actually thinking, oh shoot, I was just fixing to say her name. The lady from Aliens. What's her name? Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney Weaver, yeah.
I think both of them would be on my team. I think they would be some butt-kicking people.
Yeah.
We would survive and wouldn't take crap off nobody.
I think you have to have Chuck Norris in there somewhere. I mean, as zombies have to be afraid of Chuck Norris, right? So
there's got to be a meme in there somewhere, right? About the zombies. The zombies are afraid of Chuck Norris eating their brains.
I'm gonna get Chuck Norris, and I'm gonna get Patrick Swayze's character from Roadhouse. Cause they're just gonna fight hand to hand. Like, there's not gonna even be any like guns or anything like that, So
knock them all out.
That's right, Roadhouse.
What about you guys in the chat? Who would y'all take? We got Unloaded All showing up tonight. Hello, people. Thanks for coming back. I remember you from a previous show. That's a new icon, I think. I didn't recognize it before. That's a pretty cool icon.
It's like the Firebird.
Firebird?
Yeah, it looks like Firebird emblem.
I like that. That's cool. I like older cars. I'm not a car enthusiast. I just like looking at them. My wife's favorite car is the old Camaro. No, old Corvette with what we call the small butt. Before they had the wide lights on the backside.
The small butt Camaro. All right,
yeah,
Corvette rather.
Corvette. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. I say Camaro because that's my favorite car right now. I like the Bumblebee yellow with the black racing stripes. That's what I would get. Evan, what would be your favorite sports car you'd get right now if you could?
Sports car? I kind of like the new Corvettes. The newer model they just put out a couple years ago.
They are pretty sharp.
Pretty snazzy.
All the bells and whistles? Sure,
why not? I prefer the older ones, 68 Camaros and the 50 Corvettes and, those. If I had to pick something new, that'd probably be it.
Okay, Gary, no Jeeps, sports cars.
Actually, yeah, Jeep isn't even my favorite car. Like, it just happens to be my favorite car to come forward. Aston Martin DBS. Without a doubt.
Oh, I know why.
One of the most gorgeous cars ever made.
Does that have anything to do with your favorite 00 agent?
Yes, it does, as a matter of fact. Yeah. The one he drove in Casino Royale and in Quantum of Solace, incidentally. So, but yeah, that car is just, it's a supermodel on wheels. It's amazing. So
Unloaded All said he's got 2 Firebirds.
Nice. Very nice. Classic or well, they discontinued it. What early 2000s or was it late 90s? I can't remember when they discontinued the Firebird. But so do you have older Firebirds like the classic models, or do you have something that's sort of more of a late model?
Did they discontinue because Pontiac went under, or before that?
Yeah, when Pontiac went under.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say hello to Cameron with Gravity Goods. Thanks for hanging out with us, buddy. He says he's gonna take pictures and list and listen at the same time.
Very nice.
What is your curve? What is that word?
Urkelry?
Brian, I do not know what that word is.
Yeah.
Is that the car you would pick? Urkelry? I'm sorry, I don't know that one.
That's I'm not even familiar with that. Yeah.
Have to do a lot of flipping in order to buy that new Corvette.
Amen to that. Yeah.
I actually saw a really good looking Toyota Tacoma on Facebook Marketplace for $1,000, and my red flag started going up because I was like, "Ain't no way, right? Ain't no way." And it was this gets me just because Facebook Marketplace does it this way and allows it, but it was a car dealership that had posted just a random car that looked like a Facebook Marketplace sell by owner type scenario. I didn't email them or anything, but that just gets me every time, man. Because I'm looking on it to potentially get my son a car or, get something eventually. And my daughter's about to start driving. But man, I feel like Facebook Marketplace, and y'all tell me what y'all think, but I feel like Facebook Marketplace should have some sort of better strategy of separating owners selling their stuff from dealers or stores selling their stuff. Like it should be more obvious as to what you're looking at. And maybe you can filter by it too. What do y'all think?
I'd say even, Craigslist even has that. They have it where you have to list yourself as a dealer or list yourself as an individual, and they specify it. So they've done that for years, but I'm not sure why Facebook doesn't jump on that.
Yeah, you would think they would filter that out. Also, too, when you click on something, I'm looking for a Tacoma, like you said. I'm thinking it's going to be in Lexington where I live, and you look it up, it's in Mississippi somewhere.
Yeah,
and it's hard to, tell where it's at.
I like selling on Facebook Marketplace. Don't get me wrong. I like selling my shoes and my golf clubs there, but the filtering and the searching is not obvious as to where that item is. Like if it were local pickup, you'll get mailed out shipments options mixed in there, and it's just not obvious.
Exactly.
Yeah. By the way, awesome model years on those Trans Ams. So I think it said 72 and 74. So that's cool.
Yeah, he did. Dan the Answer Man just stopped in to say hi, and I'm so glad that you did, buddy. Can't stay. Almost dinner time. Just wanted to say hi. Thanks, man.
Oh, we appreciate you.
We truly do. Brian says, and Saab turbos.
I actually liked the 9.3 turbo back in the day. Not all Saabs are good, though, but I did like the 9.3 turbo.
I wonder if that was part of that. That's another name I don't know. Do you know Renaults?
Oh, yeah. Renaults? Yeah, Renaults. They're... Okay. Yeah.
Hey, Jennifer Hayes, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it so much. I actually, Jennifer, I don't know if you're moderator on my channel or not, but you know what? You're on everybody else's, so I might as well make you on mine too. So let me go see if I can choose that real quick.
She's super supportive. So hey, Jennifer.
Let's see. Add moderator. Boom. Done. Jennifer, go. You can do whatever if you wish, my friend. I do appreciate it. We got Heidi showing up. Greetings. Thank you, ma'am, for coming by. She's in California, so let's see, 8 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Maybe she just got off of work a little bit time ago. Carolina Thrifter Casey. I guess we were on before he had to go to bed. Thanks, man. What's up, guys? Can't stay long either, but wanted to stop and say, hey, I'm so glad that you did.
What's up, Casey?
We got the Twin Flippers. You got some South Carolina folks coming out to support you, buddy.
That's right.
So tell me,
South Carolina. So
how cool. Yeah, that's pretty much everybody. I'm going to call you Flippy. Do you mind if I just call you Flippy?
That's fine. Yeah.
I kind of like just rolling it off the tongue as Flippy. How did you get started in reselling? Did you have something full-time that you did before? Have you been doing this forever and you just finally started doing YouTube as well? Tell us a little bit about your backstory.
Honestly, my wife and I were talking about that the other day, and I've yet to figure it out exactly how I started. I believe that I picked up some Nerf guns one day at a thrift store and was kind of messing around with them and got the idea that, hey, I could look these up on eBay. It seems like they're worth more than the $2 that I'm going to pay for them. And I flipped them and it just grew from there.
And how long ago was that again?
What's that?
How long ago was that again?
This has probably been 6 or 7 years ago.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And I had a full-time job, and I just kind of was playing around with it, did that on the side. And my wife got a job here and we needed to move. So we stuck to it.
You just stuck with it after the move.
Stuck with it. Yep.
What industry were you in your full-time job?
Home improvement. I was selling awnings, garage doors, sunrooms, screen rooms, patio covers, that kind of thing.
Cool.
Just like Tim the Toolman Taylor?
Just about. I was a little more sales than installing, but
I like that. It's Dan, the answer man, has got some advice for us. He says it lets you change your location in miles away to search. I've seen that. It's not an obvious setting though. Could be a much better UI. What gets me, Dan, is every time you go in there, it's like it defaults back. It doesn't just, you can't choose it to just show you this every time. And yes, I agree. You have to touch that. And I feel like you have to touch it and then set it every time. So you doing this 6-7 years. You went to South Carolina. So you're not from South Carolina. Where are you from?
I'm from South Carolina. We just moved to about an hour away from where we were.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, I didn't want to commute back and forth. So.
Yeah, I wouldn't either, to be honest with you. I've had invitations to get jobs. Go ahead, say that again.
I said I did it for a while and it got old real quick.
I'm sure it did. How long were you on the road?
Probably 6 months to a year while we were in transition. I was going back and forth.
That could be tough, man.
It was. Get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, get home at 7 or 8 o'clock at night.
Miss your family and all?
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
And your daughters, you got 2 daughters?
2 daughters, 7 and 11.
And so they were younger at that point in time.
That's right.
Missing. You just couldn't miss it anymore. And I can totally feel you on that.
That's right. And this is much better because now I can be where I need to be when I need to be there.
Absolutely. Right. I like that a lot. I had somebody try to encourage me to get a job. Noonan is about what, Gary? About 45-50 minute drive from Columbus, Georgia?
Yeah, about that.
Somebody tried to encourage me to take a job. They left the place we're working at now, got a job right above Noonan. They tried to recruit me to come there. And I was like, dude, I ain't doing it. 1, I like where I work. 2, I'm not making that drive every day. Mm-hmm. And then they were trying to encourage me to do it by saying, oh, well, you could get an apartment up here and just stay up here 2-3 days at a time. I was like,
that sounds like a worse idea.
That's worse.
Yeah.
That's not an answer in my book.
Are you guys thinking about doing full-time reselling, trending that way?
I'll put it this way. I would enjoy it. I would love to do it. Stepping off that, ledge. I mean, we just bought a new house, my wife and I. So we kind of have that going on. On top of that, I kind of feel that wherever I'm meant to go, I'll be guided that way. So if my job decides it doesn't want my services anymore, then that's fine. At least I have something I can fall back on, even in the short term, to see if I could make it go full time and then basically roll from there. So if it works out, great. It'll be the best thing that ever happened to me. If not, at least I can answer that question.
There you go.
Yeah. Gary and I have talked about that several times, and I like my job. I like the cushy 9 to 5, and I like that this reselling isn't my bacon. You know what I'm saying? It's just extra money. So no, I don't want to go full time. But as Gary stated, if for any reason I got pushed out, it's a really good fallback plan, in my opinion. You got the groundwork started already. You've got the practices in your head. You're not starting from scratch. You're just amping it up, probably, 25, 75% to make a full-time job out of it. So I'm with you on that. We got a couple of new faces. We got Lady Luck Junk coming in tonight. I appreciate you stopping by. And we got Harry Humstone. I saw Harry out on Cat the Nurse Flipper show a week or so ago. I don't honestly exactly remember when, but thanks for coming out, Harry. I appreciate that. That was a good show. I think Heidi was with you on that show. That was funny to hear those two on a Cat show that night. So you've been doing this for about 6 or 7 years. What do you think you need to do to amp it up? Like, what do you think you're missing, and to get to that next level? What do you want to do?
I don't know that I will. I'm pretty comfortable where I'm at. Honestly, it's a challenge just to keep up with everything that changes. You
Right.
know, bolos are bolos today, aren't bolos tomorrow. So it's you got to keep up with what's going on, keep progressing with the knowledge. And I just started this YouTube thing, and that takes up time. So probably, got to stay where I'm at, pretty comfortable. I definitely don't want to get into wholesale and that kind of thing. And,
I was thinking that YouTube channel might be something you were going to say you were going to focus on. It's not to get it off the ground. It's off the ground and it's looking great. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and do it. I want to show some things off. If anybody in the chat has not subscribed to Flippy McFlipperson, you can do so with the link in the description below. But I'm also going to try to encourage you guys, because I have picked and chosen some snippets from some of his videos that I think you should really take into consideration and jump on board with this guy. Watch this. He's got some great editing. Watch this.
I'm actually a little busy doing some listings, so I'm going to let my assistant show you what sold.
You're referring to me? Didn't you tell me to take pictures of all this stuff?
Well, yeah, but I'm busy doing listings. Just tell the people what sold last week.
Do it yourself. I'm busy.
Y'all see that?
Nice.
I love that editing job, man. It's in the same frame too, which is awesome. I got another one right here. Check this out.
We'll try it out. Be right back. So we got our invisibility cloak opened up. We may have wasted $3 because it's not doing it. I still see you. Maybe we need a magic word.
Boom.
We can try it. Say it loud.
Boom.
There she goes.
Hey, it worked.
Nice.
I love it, man.
That's
and
awesome.
Then, this is my absolute favorite right here. This is my favorite. It reminds me of like Back to the Future or something.
3, 2, 1.
That is awesome, dude. And it's just
cool.
That creativity, in my opinion, is what will bring people your way. Just keep. I always look forward to see what you're going to have in your next video, whether it's at the beginning, whether it's at the end, or in the middle, or all throughout. That is awesome. I'm not going to ask you any secrets. I'm not going to ask you to share any of that with us. But I think you should definitely keep it going. You're going to make that, in my opinion, that's probably going to become one of your Flippy McFlipperson's iconic things in your videos. If you just keep that going, that'll bring them in. That'll reel them in with that creativity.
Thank you. And then that's what I love doing about it. I if you could leave me off the camera, that'd be fine. I love the editing part of it. So that's what we do.
Yeah. That is awesome. And then there was another one I didn't catch, Gary, where he, again, I have no clue how you do this or what software you use, but he got his daughter to say magic words, and it changed the color of his truck with every time she said a magic word, trying to get the right color to show up. And that was awesome.
Nice.
That was awesome. Speaking of cars, since we were earlier, I had it written down here that I was curious to know, what was your very first car?
1988 Ford Ranger.
Ford Ranger.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. Did they have the flare sides?
It did not. Thank goodness.
Extended cab or just the single cab?
No, single cab, long bed. It was a goofy looking truck.
Yeah. I'm with you, man. My first car was I don't even remember, Mazda something, but I only had it for a couple of months, and then I told Dad I gotta trade this out because it didn't have power steering, and so we got me a red Ford Ranger, 1991 red Ford Ranger. I loved that thing. Loved that thing.
It ran forever, for sure.
I got rid of it because we had kids, so I had to get a bigger car. So I hated getting rid of it. That's why I got a truck now. Kids are bigger. I told my wife I got to get another truck. I loved my truck. So I got a Tacoma. Let's talk about your sales real quick. I do see your 10 best sales of the week, but I'm curious to know, what is your best sale like of all time? And if that's too far back, what was your best sale last year?
Of all time was a PlayStation, actually. Went to a yard sale. It was 11:45. Yard sales get over at 12. Neighborhood yard sale. There's not going to be anything. There's no point in going. I went. Lady had overslept. I walk up the driveway and there's a PlayStation sitting there with a remote that was sealed and a Final Fantasy game that was sealed. I said, how much you want for the PlayStation? $10. I'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
When I picked it up, it still had the plastic seal on it. So
wow.
the PlayStation, I believe, $750. The remote for 60 or 70. The Final Fantasy game was still sealed, so it sold for over 100. So that was my best sale. Yeah,
That is
so
an
10
awesome
and
sale.
almost. Yeah.
The fact that she had set all of her stuff out, but overslept and didn't wake up until what? Did you say that she woke up late?
It out at 11:45.
That's oversleeping. Yeah, that's
She really overslept.
she really wanted to have that
Right.
yard sale too. You know, it's like I'm doing this. No matter what.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Just glad I decided to go.
That
Jeez.
is crazy. Man alive. Okay, so opposite side of that question.
Mhm.
What is your worst flip ever?
I delved into the world of buying storage lockers.
Uh-huh.
I bought 2 and lost money on both of them.
Did you?
Pretty much everything went to the dump. Yeah. It was fun to do.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't so much fun to clean out and haul off trash, but it was a lesson I learned, and I'll never do it again.
That's like on that show Storage Wars, you know, they used to show
Right.
like people buying the lockers and all that. It always looked to me like you were always in the process of moving, and that sounds horrible. Like I can't imagine like you know, you just bought this unit and then all of a sudden you've got all this stuff backed in it, whether it's worth something or not. Now you got to do something with it, and
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, and one of them
Yeah.
had old mattresses, a washer and dryer, and I'm thinking I can sell the washer and dryer for a couple $100, but
mm-hmm.
neither one of them worked. Old bed and dresser, it was all beat up, and it's my worst flip for sure.
Man, tell us about the process. Like, did you find it online on an auction site or something like that?
Yeah, one of the auction sites, and you just meet at this was still when I had a full-time job too. But
Yeah.
you just show up and there was about 10 or 12 people there, and you just bid, and highest bidder gets the locker.
Mm-hmm.
Unloaded All says Storage Wars is 99% fake.
Yeah, I believe that.
Based
I
on my
believe it.
experience, I believe it. Yeah.
It's like all the reality shows but yeah, I'm with you.
It just you just took it right out of my mouth, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to think of it, but reality shows are still scripted, man. They're still scripted. They want to have a story that people will engage in, and if they don't do it on their own, the people will tell them how to do it in order to get the engagement from the audience. Oh, look, Sal's in the house. How are you doing, my friend? Thanks for coming out here, Sal. Appreciate it so much. Thanks, Jennifer, for dropping the links out here. Jennifer's dropped Dixie Overland for you. If you haven't subscribed yet, go on over to Dixie Overland.
Thank you,
Gary's
Jennifer.
channel.
You can see my latest saga on the fact that my oldest's 99 TJ Wrangler blew its engine.
I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah. I was digging in the motor and finally got the head off yesterday, and I looked at it and I went, well, there's your problem right there. The piston had completely grenaded on the inside. I was like, oh my God. So motor's trash. So it's going from a repair to a complete motor swap now. So stay tuned for that. Should be good times.
I used to have a 99 TJ. Love that.
Did you? Okay. 4-cylinder or 6?
6-cylinder with the 3-speed automatic transmission.
Okay. Yeah, that 4.0 is almost bulletproof, but the 2.5 liter, it has its flaws. So, and that's what he has. So
you thinking about trying to repair it, or are you just gonna call it?
Oh, I've already got another engine lined up. We should be dropping it probably next week. So we're really close to pulling out the old motor. We've got almost everything disconnected. So it's just a matter of pulling it out, put the new one in, hook everything back up. And that's a good thing about Jeeps. They're like Legos, man. They're like Lego toys. So
if you've got
actually,
you can take them apart and put them back together.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. I
didn't even realize they were that easy.
The power of good tools.
Have you ever tried, Evan? weird question. You ready for this?
Okay.
Have you ever tried selling vintage underwear?
Yes. If you count Long John's underwear, then yes.
Okay. Not what I was thinking, but I think they fit the category.
I sold a pair of vintage Long Johns for over $100.
Wow.
Yeah.
What? How vintage?
They were 60s or 70s.
Oh yeah, that's vintage.
Fruit of the
Yeah.
Loom, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, they were really old. New in the
packaging.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way you really should sell underwear, personally.
This is true.
And I don't know if was that ever a thing before we all saw Matt, the part-time picker, picking up and selling vintage underwear, men's briefs. Like, I never would have guessed. Truthfully, I never would have guessed how much underwear goes for on eBay. I personally picked up 2 pair one time, 2 packs of 3 from Goodwill, probably $3-4 a pack. But I know for a fact I sold both of them for $35 each.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
To the same guy. This guy paid me over $70 for underwear.
What I have to understand is not necessarily the fact it does sell for that much, but what is appealing about buying vintage underwear from that era? I mean, especially like Long Johns to me. I mean, I would imagine with today's clothing technologies, fabric technologies, and all that, the stuff that you can get today is miles above what you used to be able to get, where it was basically probably all cotton or all wool or something like that, heavy and retain moisture and all this
all wool
stuff.
Underwear.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, exactly, but that's what they had back then, so why would you want it? I mean, somebody in the comments enlighten me on this, because I'm an outdoorsy guy, and I can't imagine going out with anything less than the best of what you're trying to have. And is it better than today's stuff? And if so, why? I'd like to know. So
the one thing I can think of is they started wearing them a long time ago, and they're partial to it, and they're stuck on it, and they'll pay whatever you want for them.
Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that. Yeah, sort of like nostalgia for them, I suppose. Or it's what you've always had. That's right. I'm not changing my underwear in 30 years. Why am I doing it now?
I hate to admit it, but that's one of those things that is difficult to bring home, try on, and return. Especially if you have to change brand or size or make, or what I'm saying, right? Like they discontinued the style you've been wearing, or for whatever reason you just completely you had to throw the last one out. You know what I'm getting at, right? So you're gonna waste money because everybody knows that's one thing you can't really get a good fit for until you wash it, right? Mm-hmm. And so now you voided your ability to return them. They cost you what, $20, $25, $30 a pack anyway, brand new even. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I kind of feel like I know where they're coming from. I've never done it.
Right.
I feel like I know where they're coming from.
Right.
Yeah. It's one of those where the resale value goes way down, when it's used once. So
Sal says they just fit different.
I hope so.
I thought it would have been against Goodwill or Salvation Army or thrift stores rules. I thought it would have been against their rules to even sell used underwear. But my wife asked me specifically, can I donate this underwear, or can I donate these socks, or can I donate these old bras, whatever the undergarment may have been? And I was like, no, nobody wants that.
Yeah, we should have asked the twins how much of that stuff they get. Because people still donate it, and they got to do something. I can only imagine, there's one bin in Goodwill dedicated to, all the old underwear they take out back and burn it or something.
Yeah. Unloaded all says, just hearing the words wool underwear has me itching. And that's what I was thinking, too, when he said that.
Ditto. But, again, it's what people had, the technology of the day.
I think I'd rather, instead of wool underwear, I'd probably rather wear some sort of undergarments made by a skin or a pelt or something. It would probably be softer. Anyway, so sorry to get us off on the underwear. I just felt like, okay, do this. Everybody in the chat, Evan, Gary, next time you go to a thrift store, specifically look for used underwear. you'll be surprised. You'll find it and how much of it you will find. I see it all the time now. It's like I never saw it before. Someone brought it to my attention, and now I see it all the time, and it's just disgusting.
Let's just say
Our
I'm not
Goodwills have the little wire baskets above the racks where they put all the used underwear and bras and everything else. So yeah, they're like eye level anytime you walk in.
Well, maybe you're eye level, but I'm 5'6". So. Girl Hustle, thanks for showing up tonight. I appreciate it. She said, I've sold a lot for very good money, and I've done this for years. Sold a pack of Fruit of the Loom for $78 dated from 1974. And I've sold women's underwear for over $100. And that just, by that. I think that it just goes to prove that stay on the lookout for underwear. Girl Hustle, tell me in the chat that $100 underwear, was it brand new or not? I'm just curious.
Also, what brand was it? Like, was it something specific? Was it like, especially if it was women's underwear, was it like, I don't know. I don't even know how to say it.
It's okay. I got tripped up by Sal's comment. Maybe that's why I'm single and I need to update my underwear. Oh, Sal, come on, man.
I don't know.
If you think that may be it, go ahead and do it anyway, just to, get that out of there. Don't let that stand in your way anymore. Oh, we got Shoppa Holly showing up tonight. Thank you so much for stopping by. And she says, I do see it at Goodwill. I'm telling you, it's there. I went to an America's Thrift, Gary. It was in Canton, Georgia.
Okay.
And I specifically was looking for underwear. And they had 0 underwear that was new, but like 50 pair hanging used underwear, and that just sickened me out. Like they put it on the shorts hangers and hung it up with all the boxer shorts and the swimsuits and stuff as if like it belonged with that category, which it doesn't in my opinion.
Same at the one in Opelika in Alabama. It's the same. I've seen it on there. I haven't gone through it because again I'm like I what am I even looking for? That type of thing. I have no expertise in that type of thing. It's like the tidy whitey from 1982, but
What's that
about the guy who's got Goodwill to hang up the underwear on the hangers?
Imagine they're all wearing gloves. Well, don't you? I mean, there is good vintage underwear that is still brand new that would be hanging with that used underwear, right?
Right.
And honestly, from when you personally take new underwear out of the packaging, you can tell new from old, right? So I didn't feel comfortable doing this number through the hangers looking for the good underwear.
Everybody's looking at you in the store.
Anyway,
keep an eye on the bald guy,
Yeah. Watch out for the bald guy. There's tons of used underwear at my local Salvation Army, and it gives me the heebie-jeebies to think about bringing it home. Yeah, to think, Ken, why would you think about bringing it home? Do not bring the used underwear home. I don't know. According to Girl Hustle, it's got some value, but I'm still waiting for Girl Hustle to reply to say what kind of underwear was that $100 underwear. Yeah. He said, how would you know new from old? Do you have to do the sniff test?
Yeah, that's gonna be a no for me, dog.
I was wearing my mask too. Anyway, let's get off the underwear conversation for a little while, shall we?
So to recap tonight's show, cars and underwear. So thanks for tuning in.
So Evan, what is your favorite part about making your YouTube videos?
100% the editing. It's just that's the fun part. It takes forever, but I just love doing it.
Do you have a fear of running out of those creative ideas?
Oh, 100%. I don't. When I do my top 10 every Tuesday, I may know what I'm going to do on Monday.
I was going to ask, do you have a list as you think of something, you just write it down? No, it's just on Monday you think, well, I haven't done this yet. Let's go with it. Uh-oh, you're a little frozen.
Right, basically. Sure, I'm sure I'll run out and repeat things and,
Good deal. Good deal. Girl Hustle has an answer for us.
Vintage
the other
Victoria's
day,
Secret. Okay.
a vintage Victoria's Secret sold for $39.99. You got to tell us, were they used or were they new? I'm hoping you're going to say they're new, but I just got to know. I'm wondering if there is any value whatsoever in used underwear, and I'm afraid of the answer.
It doesn't seem to be on the men's side. Can I just make that mention? But
There are ones that sell for over $400.
it's probably like Chanel
Jeez.
or something like that. It's probably some kind of super brand, and that kind of brand sells, all the time. Anything vintage is automatically going to jack the value. So
Used or not, right?
yeah, I totally believe it. I mean, I think personally that they're, I tell, my wife and all that, I say, there's a market for everything out there. There's somebody out there willing to buy whatever it is you have for sale. It just takes the buyer. It takes you getting the eyes on your item in order to make it sell, and they're willing to pay for it. So yeah,
there's a buyer for every product, right?
There is. There absolutely is. Otherwise, it wouldn't have made it. Yeah.
So, Flippy, what is your favorite category? You said shoes are the first place you go to in the store. Is that your favorite category, or is that just where you go to first because it's the easiest? To me, there's two different
Probably
things.
As much as I make fun of you for it, it's electronics, especially small electronics. Yeah.
Gary, he calls me in my comments. He calls me the new Circuit City.
Now that's good.
And I had my first return on an electronic, and I don't know if I should blame myself for packing or if I should blame UPS for shipping. The box looked pretty good. I got the guy to send me a picture of the box, and the box looked pretty good. So maybe it was my packing. I can't remember, but I tried something different with one of my most recent VCRs that I sent out, and that could have been it. So I gladly told him, yeah, I'll take it back. He said it wouldn't work, but I test everything. But he said it didn't work. It 8 tapes. It turns off whenever he tries to press play. It just completely turns off. So although it may have been my packing, I still think UPS has some sort of to blame for it. But
there's so many little moving parts in there. They throw it across the warehouse and doesn't show any box damage, but it's still knocking those parts loose and stops working.
I'll take blame for that. It's a $6 loss plus shipping in my chalk one up to learning the hard way, right?
That's the business expense. It's part of it.
What's the worst lesson you've learned in reselling, Evan? What's the hardest lesson you've learned?
Don't buy storage units. And
back to storage
everything you buy. Don't buy storage units. But everything you buy, don't just make sure you look at it real good before you bring it home. Can't count how many shirts or pants or jackets or whatever I can bring it home, and there's flaws.
Yeah. Something about the lighting in the store versus the lighting under your photograph lights.
Absolutely.
Gary,
Absolutely.
What's the worst lesson you've learned? The hardest lesson you've learned?
As far as like selling altogether, not necessarily on one item. I've had 2 incidents happen where I accidentally shipped 2 different items to 2 different people. That will make your heart sink. And it actually happened fairly recently, about a month ago. And I don't even know how I did this, because after the first time I thought, well, I said, I'm going to put all these controls in my process to where that can't happen. Double verify the labels, do all this other stuff. I must have just been in some kind of hurry or got distracted, and I slipped the wrong item in the wrong envelope, and then it just cascaded from there. So I had 2 people get 2 completely wrong items. So I have to message both of them and say, hey, can you send those back so I can send them to the right person? Yeah. And now you've got to wait for them to come back. You've got 2 returns open. You've got 2 cases open against you. When it comes to eBay, their
algorithm.
Well, the way that they have it set, it's like as soon as the item gets back to you, they want you to refund the buyer, and you're like, well, I'm not going to refund the buyer. I'm going to send it to him. I'm going to send it to the correct person. So I had to get an eBay rep on the phone and say, this is what I'm doing. And so that's where they basically close the return, and then you ship it on like you normally did,
Yeah.
And they say, yeah, we understand that this happens. And I'm thinking, well, it'd be kind of cool if, like, in your little drop down, maybe sent wrong item, sending item to, whatever it is that they have to word it as. But I think if it happens often enough, there should be a process that they can build in to where that's the thing. But that will make your heart sink when you get that.
That's a good point, especially since the customer service says that happens. That happens often, or we see that often.
Yeah.
That to me is a clue that it could be an option in the return process.
She even thanked me. Yeah, she even thanked me for getting it resolved so quickly on my own. As like I said, I reached out to them. So
yeah. Girl Hustle said a lady tapped on my shoulder and told me the new ones were in the back of the store. She said that was her worst fear coming true. So she must have been looking at used underwear and then was told the new underwear is in the back of the store. So that was her fear.
I'll tell you what, though, I did, in her next comment, she says, look at these sold vintage panties. And I did do that on eBay just a few minutes ago. And I'm like, wow. And also my entire thing of where, the stuff you've looked up is going to be really, really weird for the next, however long.
You've totally tainted your search history for the next 3 months.
My wife's going to go on eBay and be like, what in God's name?
What kind of ads are you going to get now?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Google thinks you're interested in this. Yeah. So
Unloaded All says UPS stands for Uncaring Package Smashers.
It's a good one.
I've heard. I can't honestly fathom why somebody like UPS, FedEx, USPS, why they would think it's okay to throw, to slide, to smash, to stomp, to drop. I mean, I can't fathom why that's an okay thing so much that they have a reputation for it, because in my head, you have no clue what's inside, right? Zero clue. Whether it's heavy or light, it could be breakable no matter what. And that's one, you have to think that you could trust them, but unfortunately they're getting a bad reputation these days. Well, I said these days, but really it's not. It's been a while, hasn't it? Our UPS driver is pretty good, but I've seen some fling boxes like Frisbees. See, that's just ridiculous. I did hear a story of I think it was back at Christmas time, where a FedEx employee was arrested for hiding packages underneath the dumpster at the FedEx location. As they were loading the truck, he would slide a box, load the truck, slide a box under the dumpster, thinking he's being inconspicuous about it and whatnot. And he got busted because it was caught on camera. He would go after hours, climb the fence, go under the, and that's how he got caught, because when he went up under there, they weren't there anymore. And the next day he got fired and he was arrested and stuff like that. So ridiculous. Sal says that just happened to me as well. Talking about boxes and whatnot. I sold a 13-inch CRT TV with a DVD combo in it just the other day. I wrapped that bad boy up in some bubble wrap. You better believe it. I mean, it was thick. I added some styrofoam in the corners, lots of packaging, bottom, top. I put all over the box, this side up. I put the fragile stickers all around the box, and I put the label on top so that there would be no reason to turn it sideways or upside down to look for the shipping label. I just, crossing my fingers and saying prayers that it gets there in one piece. It's the first time I've sold something of so heavy and so fragile, and we're just gonna see how it goes, right? $6 into $55 plus shipping.
Nice. I sold a kayak helmet, and it's a helmet. It's not supposed to break. Sent it UPS or USPS, and it got there. The corner of the box was crushed, and it had a big crack in it. So the Postal Service managed to crack a helmet.
Yeah, something that's uncrackable. Wow, or mostly uncrackable. Yeah, that's unbelievable.
I had to find a buyer.
I wonder if they rolled over it with the pallet jack or something like that. I mean, it would take a lot to crack a helmet like that.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
That's ridiculous. That's absolutely crazy. Quick lightning round question for you, Evan. New one. Just came up with this myself last night. When you eat cosmopolitan ice cream, which flavor do you go for?
You mean Neapolitan ice cream?
What did I say? Yeah,
You said
Neapolitan. I got Neapolitan written
back
down.
on underwear again.
Just
All right.
get underwear. Good catch, my friend.
Trying to figure out what color.
Neapolitan.
Probably vanilla.
The
Plain old
vanilla.
Yep.
You don't just scoop across all three of them at once?
No. Give me plain vanilla, one at a time.
Do you have somebody in your family that does plain chocolate and another person in your family does plain strawberry?
Yeah, my daughters, one would do chocolate, one would do strawberry. Definitely.
Well, what about your wife? She's the one who scoops across all three.
Probably so, yeah. Probably so.
That's excellent. Gary, what about you, man? I've never asked you that question before. Are you chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry?
Oh, chocolate. No, I'm the chocolate guy. I love, like, chocolate is one of my weaknesses, along with beer, cigars, whiskey, all these things. I mean, chocolate is like a huge weakness of mine, and so chocolate ice cream, the more the better. It's like I had some chocolate gelato down in Tampa a few weeks back, and oh my god, it was heaven in a cup. Yeah,
Is that Italian ice cream?
yeah. It was amazing.
So what's the difference between ice cream and gelato?
I'm not 100%. There is a difference. I think it's made with maybe a heavier cream. Maybe someone can correct me on that. I don't know exactly. But it does sort of have, to me, a little bit more of a thicker consistency.
Mhm.
So that's kind of what I think is going on there. But I could be wrong.
We went to Italy, but I did not buy any gelato. I saw several other people buy it, saying you got to try it while you're here. You got to try it while you're here. And I'll be honest to say, ice cream is one of those things I can leave behind. That's not what tickles my fancy. It's the
Really?
donuts or the pastries. What is that pastry that they serve at Italian restaurants for dessert? I don't. It's round,
like cannoli.
tube cannoli. Yeah,
Right,
with the
cannoli,
stuff
yeah.
in the middle.
Yeah.
I do not like that. I thought I was gonna love it. It was
Don't like those?
no, I did not
Wow,
like that at
okay.
all. It was the something with the consistency of the icing in the middle. It was not what I was expecting, and it's kind of like taking a big sip of Dr. Pepper when you expected it to be Coke or sweet tea or something. You know, it just totally set me off on that one. Josh says, "Gotta run. His live's about to get started." Appreciate you hanging out with us, Josh, while you could. I'm going to send our guests over to your show when we're done, and we'll see you there, buddy. Have a good one. Oh, man. Okay, so let's jump in. It's been about an hour. Let's jump into one of our favorite segments that I like to call Hot or Not.
Hot or not.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hot or not. This is where we like to tell you guys in the chat what items you should be on the lookout for, hot, or what items we have either failed on, it's completely flopped for us, or and that's our not items. So I want to hand it over to our guest to go first, and that's Evan. And so share with us one of the two items you got. I know you said you had two of them. Just go with one of them for now.
I'm going to give you one that is actually hot and not.
Okay.
You guys know what this is?
I don't quite know.
It looks like one of those docks, like for like an iPhone or something like that, maybe.
It's
No.
a CPAP machine.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I know what
So
it is, but
you-
I've never seen one. So
Yeah. So you can't sell these on eBay or Macquarie. I've seen people sell them on Facebook. I'm not willing to take that chance because it's a prescription device. But I find these all the time I find them at the bins actually. But found this one today for $5, and you can go to secondwindcpap.com or 1-800-CPAP.com, fill out a form, and they'll buy them from you. Last two I sold, like one of them I sold for 150 and one for 125.
wow.
Well,
Yeah,
what are the
okay.
restrictions around it?
So that's the not part of this particular one.
Oh, okay.
This one has if you plug it in at the thrift store, you can actually check. This one has 5,000 hours on it. They want one that has between 1,500 and 2,000 hours. So if you can find those, you know, they're usually pretty cheap. And like I said, $125, $150, and they'll send you a UPS label. You ship them off, and they get them. They can PayPal you or send you a check.
Huh? So that's like flipping without reselling.
Basically,
Like a guaranteed buyer. Yeah.
If you can find them within their parameters, yeah, they want newer models.
Oh, you kind of hiccup there in your connection. What were the hours again?
They want them between 1,500 and 2,000 hours.
That's a small window. I actually a couple of weeks ago I did see a CPAP machine, and I've heard of that. I didn't recognize that one just because I don't know what they all look like. But this one, when I plugged it in, it had like 2,700 hours on it, and I didn't know about the restriction as far as the hours were concerned. So I had to call up my brother-in-law who has bought a few of them, and honestly, I knew that if he was the first person I knew I could think of, but the 2,000 hour limit, I think, is the biggest thing that's probably going to catch you. If you don't know about the 2,000 hour limit, then you could pick these things up all day long and they're trash, honestly.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's a really good one. That's a good one because, to be honest with you, the way I see that is that's like instant turnover. Turnover. I mean, don't pick it up if it doesn't meet the parameters, but if it does, I mean, you have a buyer for it, right?
Right.
So it's a guaranteed flip.
Awesome.
That's a good one.
Yeah, good advice.
Gary, you got a hot?
I do have a hot. The hot that I have is going to be a brand that is called Ruffwear. Ruffwear. It is dog harnesses. Right. These dog harnesses actually range in different sizes, obviously depending on the size of your dog. And these are more of your active wear dog harnesses. So if somebody takes their dog jogging or hiking or does any other physical activity with their dog, these harnesses are meant more for that. They've got sort of little pockets and pouches in them. The one that I picked up actually had a water bottle that's inside of it, like a little collapsible water bottle that you can fill up, and then, dispense it for your pet right there. Anyway, I picked it up for, I think, $5. These harnesses go from anywhere between about $45 and $50. If you find one new, it will actually go for a little bit more than that. So they do have good resale value on them too, because, when it comes to things like this, people will tend to buy things for their pets that are used, especially, pet clothing or things like this, pet equipment. They will buy it used as long as it's clean, and not really eaten up or mangled or anything like that. So yeah, be on the lookout for Ruffwear. That's Ruffwear.
That's a good one. How often do you see Ruffwear? Is that the first one you see?
That was the first time I saw it. And it was funny. I was in the Goodwill and I was looking at it. I was like, because I just bought a dog harness for my dog, and it wasn't cheap. I mean, those harnesses, especially if you get the ones, for him, again, I wanted one that was, had the top handle on it. So in case I had him off the leash, I could actually hold on to him like that. I wanted it to be able to fit nice and snug and all that. And I think we spent somewhere around $50 or $60 for it. And there were some that were a lot more expensive than that. So I kind of said to myself, well, dog harness, I know what I spent on a dog harness. So maybe this one's along that line. Sure enough, I looked it up and, there it is. That's what they were going for. I said, okay, well, that's an easy pick. And sure enough, I listed it and I think I got 5 or 6 watchers on it the first day.
Yeah.
Still hasn't sold, but I have a feeling it will very soon.
Good deal. I think I remember Ben with Ready Set Resell bought like maybe $4,000 worth of Ruffwear from someone, and he's making tens of thousands off of it.
Yeah. It's, I mean, you go into PetSmart or Petco or any of the other pet stores that are around, and I mean, the stuff for dogs is expensive. And I'm like, geez, like, what are they making this stuff out of? And I look at it, a good chunk of it's made in China or other places like that. So I mean, I honestly don't know if Ruffwear is an American-made company, but if they are, that could explain where the value is coming from somewhat.
Yeah. Well, my hot is going to be something simple. You may see it often and didn't realize it, but Levi's specifically with pocket flaps, like button flaps on the back buttons, the back pockets, I should say. Levi's with pocket flaps, for me, when I see them, I pick them up and I have no problem selling them for $25 plus shipping. In fact, some of them I'll depending on the 501 versus 569 versus 559. 501 with pocket flaps, they fly off the shelf quick. I had to put a Band-Aid on my finger earlier and now I can't snap, but they go off. I mean, they fly off the shelf. I will sell them within a day every time I list them.
Is that men
What's
and
that, Evan?
women? Is that men and women?
Well, I don't buy women's Levi's. I don't buy women's jeans, period. So I'm not sure, to be honest with you. But I'm speaking for the men's specifically. I would have to assume, though you can get in trouble for doing that women's jeans are going to fly off the shelf just like that with the pocket flaps. But this is just men's that I'm speaking of. 501s do better than the other models, but 501s and 569s, those are the ones that I see most often. And something about those pocket flaps, some people over on the West Coast love them. They're always going to California.
Guess it's in style there. I mean, well, when it comes to California style, it'll be hot here in a year or two.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight, Justin. Thanks for stopping by, my friend.
Yep. Yes,
I've
sir.
actually been doing my taxes recently, trying to get it all into TurboTax and take care of that. That takes some time. Man, I like TurboTax though because it walks you through and makes it easy. I don't pay anybody to do it. All right. Do you have a knot, or was that both all in one, Evan?
That was probably all in one. Yeah.
Okay.
Lately, it seems like my big knot is kind of my addiction is the Harley Davidson T-shirts.
Yeah.
The newer ones don't sell anymore like they used to.
And
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Used to be such a hot brand. That was the crazy thing is like, because when I started to ride late in life. I learned how to ride in 2012. And I mean, Harley was all over the place. And I remember, finding Harley shirts, and we have a Harley, dealership here in town. So you would find their, overruns, what they didn't sell. And they always had cool designs because, we're next to Fort Benning, Georgia. And so they would always have things like tanks or Humvees on them, or, planes, helicopters. And so they were cool. They looked good, as well. They had that sort of military vibe as well as being Harley Davidson. And man, I could not keep them. I mean, I'd buy them and then right out the door a day or two later. Now, I mean, it's like you have to lower the price down to almost nothing in order for it to go.
The problem is our T-shirts and our Goodwills are $1.50, so I can't leave them behind.
Right. I understand. I totally understand. So, I still have some of my old Harley shirts. So I sold my bike, but I keep the Harley shirts. So I remember buying a Harley shirt the day I learned to ride. Like I got through the course that I did at Harley Davidson. I went inside their dealership and I bought a T-shirt, and I put the date on the label. So it was 5/5/2012 on Cinco de Mayo. So still remember.
Gary, are you allowed to wear a Harley shirt if you don't own a Harley?
I think if you used to own a Harley, or if you know how to ride, I think you can. I think it's actually funny. That's kind of a funny thing, because like Harley became a lifestyle clothing brand for a while, where they were selling clothing that to people who didn't ride. And I think that's part of what hurt the brand some, because you would see it. I remember going to Las Vegas, and I was inside, I want to say it was like maybe Caesar's Palace, and the shops that were there at Caesar's Palace, and Harley Davidson had like a boutique store there, right? And a couple of motorcycles inside, display, and then they had all the clothing and stuff like that. And so I was checking out. I bought a T-shirt because it said Las Vegas Harley Davidson on it. It's still one of my favorite shirts I own. And I asked the girl behind the counter, she's all decked out in the clothing, looks the part. And I said, "So what kind of bike do you have?" And she goes, "Oh, I don't ride." She goes, "I don't even like motorcycles." And I'm like, how did you pass the test?
Way to sell the brand.
Right. But that's the thing. That's what I think happened to Harley Davidson,
Yeah. That's what I was leaning towards when I asked the question. I kind of feel like it's a community that you got to be part of, because you're going to get those questions and you're not going to have an answer. And then, or you can make up something, but whatever.
Like I said, I used to ride, rode for years. So, I mean, I feel like I've paid my dues in on it, and I rode Harleys. So, I feel like I'm entitled to wear a Harley shirt whenever I want. But because if somebody says, what kind of bike do you have, or what did you have, what did you ride, I could tell them right off the bat.
Yeah.
But I guess, again, some people just buy it because they like the look of the shirt. And okay, well, that's fine, but
Yeah.
know that somebody's going to ask.
I rode a motorcycle once before. That probably doesn't qualify though, does it?
Was it an American bike?
It was a Honda.
Nope, doesn't count.
All right. Well, I'll share out my knot. And my knot it's to help people who maybe are trying to learn vintage clothing. But my knot is not all single stitch t-shirts are vintage. Okay? So they're like single stitch has actually somewhat become a fashion style these days. And you'll see them on like Old Navy shirts. You'll see them on Abercrombie and Fitch shirts. You'll see them on mall brands, hip frat boy chic shirts and stuff like that. So if you're out there and you don't know a lot about vintage t-shirts and you're just trying to study up and learn the situation, don't buy a single stitch shirt just because it's going to be vintage, or don't assume it's vintage because it's single stitch. I've seen a lot of people on a lot of YouTubes, honestly, kind of toss that out there about if it's single stitch, it's vintage, and that's just not true. It's a very generic statement that's just not true. So I wanted to throw that out there to help anybody out who may have fallen in for that. I don't want to say lie, but just fallen for that, right? Misrepresentation of it, right?
Right.
So that's my knot. Not all single stitch equals vintage. Flipping Sports Guys out here, buddy. Thanks for showing up tonight. Says Evans on a live. Yes.
What's up,
I don't know how I talked him into it, but I did. He's not nervous or anything. We put enough beers in him. No, I'm just kidding. Not really.
Got him sauced up before. So.
Excellent. All right. That's our hot and knots. So let's move on to our game for the night called More or Less. All right, everybody. You can play along in the chat too, but this game is for our buddy Evan and our co-host Gary. It's kind of like a traditional Gary versus guest game show. And Gary has said he's brought his A game tonight. He is ready for this, and more or less. So here's how the game works. I've got 5 items that have recently sold on eBay. I've taken a snapshot of them, and I'm covering up the price that they actually sold for, and I put a new price on the screen. Now, Evan and Gary, you've got little signs, one that says more, one that says less, and you have to decide, is the price I show you more or less? No, I'm sorry. Is the actual price more or less of the price that I actually show you? Okay. So you're going to try to determine, is the actual sold price more or less than the price I show you? You can help them out in the chat. Just say more or less to give them an idea, because I'm going to go over the item before they reveal their answer. And then I'm going to keep a tally over here on my handy dandy notepad. I'm not going to go all Nickelodeon on us or nothing, but I've got a little, here we go, scorecard here for Gary and Evan. Let's share my screen. And the first item is a sports card. Are y'all into sports cars? Sports cards?
I used to be when I was a kid, but I lost interest in it.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
a big thing lately, real big thing lately. And I'm not into sports cards either, to be honest with you, but I did recognize the name Kobe Bryant. I think we all probably recognize that name, right? Kobe.
Yep.
So this is a 1996-97 Upper Deck rookie exclusive of Kobe Bryant. It is a number. It is near mint. It is a grade number 9. Now I'm showing the price $320, and you have to decide, is the actual price that it sold for more or less than $320? While you're thinking about that, let's look at our chat and see if we got anybody helping us out. We've got Sal who says more, and right now that's all the help you're going to get. So get ready and go ahead and reveal more or less.
Paul's the sports card guy. He needs to help me out here.
The flipping sports guy.
All right.
All right. So Gary says less and Evan says more. All right. So the actual cost or sale value of this card is $250. So the answer is less. That's one for Gary.
I think it has to be because of the grade. If it was a grade 10, then yeah, I think you could easily get north of that, of 320. So I think it's because of the grade.
I would agree with that. Probably
nice,
closer to 400 or 450.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sal said, okay, so Sal, he says, when was it sold? This is a recent sale off of eBay, so it's within the past 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, so the next item is a Doritos King of Cool Ranch chip. So this Cool Ranch chip caught my attention because it is completely covered with that awesome flavor that they spread all over the chip. And I'm going to quickly read the description for you. This was a hoot. He really described it well. Doritos Cool Ranch chip. This is not your ordinary chip. This triangle piece of mouth-watering goodness is heavy loaded with the most Cool Ranch you have ever experienced in a single chip. This is the king of cool with the deepest of ranch flavor laid into this chip with the utmost factory precision. The chip doesn't demand respect. It gives it out like an all-you-can-eat buffet. So you can't see it, but in the pictures below, he's got one of those fancy tools where he measures the width and the length of each corner of the chip. It's hilarious. Funny. So this price I have listed at $1,995.89, but it's up to you to determine is the actual sale price more or less than that number.
Go ahead and auction or buy it now.
These are only buy it nows.
Okay.
So go ahead and reveal. Gary says more and Evan says less. All right. Let's see over here in the comments we got. If that's $2,000, I'm sitting on a gold mine over here.
This is how people launder money through eBay.
Yeah. All right, so the actual sold price for this King of Cool Ranch chip is $2,750.
Jeez.
It must have been some kind of viral thing, or I mean, will anybody actually pay it? You go down as just non-paying, buyer. Who cares? You bid it up.
You're ruining the fun of the game, Gary.
I don't know. The fact that a chip sold for almost $3,000.
You have to assume they didn't actually pay for this. It's just a sold listing, but there's no actual. You have no way of knowing if it was actually paid for. But I will tell you this: if it wasn't actually paid for, wouldn't they have relisted it? I didn't see a new relisting. I looked specifically for this one,
unless it was a joke in the first place. But hey, whatever. It's cool.
You never know.
All right, so Gary got that one with more.
The measurements is absolutely mind blowing to me here. The peak rise,
peak to base height.
Oh, jeez.
All right, the next item is a vintage Hasbro Tiger Talking Furby Buddy from 1999, still new in the box. This was a buy it now. And it is within the past 3 months. It showed up in the sold listings that I can get to on eBay. And so you need to think this is a vintage 1999 Furby Buddy. Now, this Furby is one of the smaller ones. The exact dimensions I do not know, but they are about 5 inches tall. Okay, so take that into consideration because I think size could make it, help you with your decision here, right? So get ready to hold up your sign. Do you think it was actual sale price more or less than $50? All right, reveal. Both of you say more. All right. Well, the actual sold price of this vintage Furby from 1999 is $45.
Wow, we're close.
Yeah.
That's close, but yeah. Wow.
Yeah. That one was a close one. I kind of thought I might throw you off for a loop. I'm glad I did. All right. As the host of this game, it's my job to get satisfaction from throwing the contestants, right? So
That's right.
here is the next item. It is a fossilized giant Ice Age saber-tooth tiger skull. Just let that sink in for a minute. A full saber-tooth skull. I made sure that it did not say anything about this being a replica. It's not 3D printed. It's shown off as being an actual fossilized saber-tooth skull. Imagine getting attacked by one of those things out in the wild. And it looks like it's got a roll of toilet paper in the middle of its mouth.
I was trying to figure that out. Is that a coffee cup or PVC or what's going on?
I don't know. I guess it's something to hide the
free
pipe inside to hold it up. I don't know.
Free roll of toilet paper with every purchase. You know, those are their weight in gold. So
Back in March, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So the price I am showing you here is $17,850. That's a chunk of change. But what was the actual sold price? That's what you have to decide. Was it more or less than $17,850? Right now, we don't have any help in the chat on this particular item, so go ahead and get ready to reveal. All right, go ahead. Show us what you think. Both of you say more. All right. The actual sold price. Okay, how much more? Evan, how much more do you think it sold for?
I'm gonna say
this is just like bonus points.
I'm gonna say it sold for 40 grand.
40 grand. Gary, what do you think?
I was thinking it sold for 50,000 on top of what you've got. I mean, I think it's close to about 70 grand total.
Okay. Shopaholic says more as well. So she's in complete agreement with both of you guys. All right. So you either both have it right or you both have it wrong. Let's find out. $19,999.99.
So it's 20 grand. I mean, still. Wow.
$20,000. And on top of that, another $1,000 in shipping.
Yeah, that's ultra protected, this and that. You
Probably
know, I'll tell you,
some sort of lock box, right?
I just to add a quick story, since this is what you brought up, I looked just because I was looking to buy a fossil one time. I don't own a fossil. I wanted a fossil, you know.
I have a fossil watch.
Yeah, not quite there. Yeah, maybe in a million years. But so I looked up and I said, well, what's the most expensive fossil out there that someone, you know, has for sale? It was a Triceratops skull. The entire thing with the horns, you know, the 3 horns, everything. I mean, that thing was huge, right? And it was selling for, I think it was $600,000. And I said, if I was a billionaire, I would buy it, because what a conversation piece.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you put that in your house and people are going to ask, you know, yeah, I've got part of Jurassic Park here. You know, I mean, phenomenal. Just,
I bet you there'd be a neat way to try to figure out how to make that into some sort of throne that you could sit on in your living room.
Because you're a billionaire, you can do that sort of thing too.
Absolutely.
You know? So that's cool though. That's cool. I like that. I'm not going to buy it, but that's
Evan,
cool.
do you have a fossilized Triceratops skull in your living room?
I've got 2. My wife, we have them side by side.
Is it
got a matching set.
Is it hers? Like towels?
Because they like to watch TV in style.
That's right.
Holly says the museum probably bought it. And you know what? That's probably right. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I thought when I first saw it as well. All right. The last item on our game tonight. If you haven't been keeping up with current events, this is having to do with Dr. Seuss and his books. We will not get into conversation as to whether or not we believe that pulling them is right or wrong, but let's just talk about this one particular book. This one is called If I Ran the Zoo. If I Ran the Zoo by Dr. Seuss. Now, to know the backstory, first off, let me ask, do y'all know the current story, what's going on with these books?
Yes.
Okay. So you're familiar. Anybody who's listening to the replay or in the chat who isn't sure, who doesn't know the story, they are pulling 6 Dr. Seuss books off the shelf due to political correctness. Let's just put it that way, okay? And that's the end of the story. So this book right here, If I Ran the Zoo by Dr. Seuss, collector's edition in mint condition. I show that it's sold for $425. But you have to determine, did it actually sell for more or for less? We got Holly trying to help you out over here, and she says way more. Oh, Red Dirt Pricker showed up. Thanks, buddy, for hanging out with us tonight. What's up with you, my friend? We're playing a game of more or less. They have to decide if it's actually sold for more or less than $425. Are y'all ready?
Yep.
Reveal. Gary says less, and Evan says more. So the actual sold price of this book of Dr. Seuss is $349.
Still a lot.
It's still a lot. There were several repeated sales of this book for this amount, around the $350 mark. So I thought it was safe to be able to, because sometimes one item, it all depends on what somebody's willing to pay for it, right? Some $500, some $200, right?
Yeah.
But there were several consistent back-to-back sales in that $350 range. So I thought that was a safe one to bring in here and not throw y'all off too bad. But well, that is the conclusion of that show. And we have Gary with 4 and Evan with 1.
Yeah, good job, Gary.
Thank you. A game. So, yeah.
Yes, he did bring his A game tonight.
Those were good ones, though. Those were good ones. That makes you think. So, yeah.
The Dorito, in my opinion, is the least believable. But
I've seen... When it comes to these chips, people sell like this chip is in the shape of the state of Maine or whatever. I mean, it's the craziest thing what I see them pay. So it wouldn't surprise me, you know.
So I was sitting on the couch with my dad. We were chomping on a bag of Cool Ranch Doritos, watching a movie or watching TV or something like that. And I pulled one out of the bag that was like that, just slap covered with that Cool Ranch flavor. And you know what I thought? I wonder how much somebody could sell this for on eBay. And that's when I got the idea to look it up.
Take measurements.
Ridiculous. That was not the only sold listing. Well,
Really?
sold listing, I should say. But we say it with Black Diamond videotapes too. Those that sell for thousands of dollars are just a way of moving around money from one pocket to another, and that's about it.
Right.
But you never can tell what you're going to find for sale on eBay, right? So y'all need to just keep on sourcing and keep on picking and have some good old fun out there while you do it. How often do you get to go picking, Evan? Do you do it every day, once a week, twice a week? What's your sourcing regimen all about?
Usually 3 or 4 times a week. Like Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'll go around and hit 4 thrift stores. Sometimes on the other days when I go to the post office, there's a Goodwill and another little thrift store right beside it. So I'll stop in, spend 30 minutes and see what I can find. And then usually Saturday's yard sales, and been doing dream deals Friday and Saturday.
Yeah. Have the yard sales kicked up in your area yet?
It really just started last weekend. I went to 3 last weekend, didn't really find a whole lot, but it was nice just to get out.
Was the weather good last weekend?
It was decent. Yeah,
it was pretty warm for us too. I saw 2. I got to run by 1 yard sale, but I was out late, so it was already really picked over. So they wanted a Nintendo. They wanted to sell their Nintendo Switch for $300. I was like, isn't that like what you can get it for in the store right now?
Right.
So don't know if they sold it or not, but they didn't sell it to me. That's for sure. Red Dirt Picker says he thinks that. I think he was talking about the Dr. Seuss book. It was going to be for $600. I mean, they're going up. Here's the thing, Gary, tomorrow I've got a lunch plan. But on Friday, I'm probably going to go by our Salvation Army because I think that may be the one store that's the least picked over in our area. Yeah. And I'm just going to go see if they got any Dr. Seuss books hanging out on their shelves. You never know what you could come across there.
I tell you, I found a good book, a valuable book at the Salvation Army once. The book, The Help, they made it a movie a few years back, and it was an autographed first edition of the book. And if I had sold it, I could have sold it for probably at least 400. I saw some listings that were as high as 500. I never sold it because I like to actually kind of collect, books like that. It's one of the things that whenever I pick, I rarely sell my good books that I find, because I really, really like those. Like when we found, and Adam and I have this weird story of how the two of us, 1 week apart in 2 different thrift stores in 2 different states, found a first edition, first printing of The Hunt for Red October by Tom Clancy. Which, again, they only printed a certain number of them because it was his first book. And apparently, and my theory goes is that people who were in military circles were the ones to get them first. I know that whenever Tom Clancy wrote that book, there were a lot of people, a lot of top military folks that screened the book saying, where on earth did you find out about this stuff? Because it was so accurate to what, the military had at the time, that they thought that there was some kind of leak at the Pentagon that was supplying him information, and so he would write about it. So I imagine they went around in military circles, because I found mine in a thrift store here, which is, again, close to Fort Benning, Georgia. And then, Adam, you found yours, I want to say it was in Panama City, Florida.
Yep,
which
by
is right by the
community.
naval base, which makes total sense.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my theory behind it. I don't know why they happen to hit that shelf 1 week apart, but I bought it for $2.
That was the strangest thing in the world.
What's that, Evan?
What's the value on those? What do they sell for?
It depends.
I would say ours were not in like great condition. They were probably just in good pre-owned condition.
Yeah,
and I sold mine for $125.
Yeah, I think if you had it a little bit more pristine, I think you could get probably about 700 or so. If Tom Clancy signed it, that price just skyrockets at that point. I think I could have sold mine. I think mine was in a little bit better nick than yours was, Adam. Yours had, I think, some water damage to it.
Yeah.
Mine didn't. It's still pretty good. I think I could probably get about 300 for it if I sold it. But again, I'm hanging on to it. I like it. It's cool. It's one of my favorite movies. So it's kind of cool to have that book in the very first printing, first edition of it. So
I look for that book every time I'm looking through books, because it'll jump out at you, because it's that dust cover, that dust jacket is easy to spot.
Yep.
And I've never come across it again.
And I'll give you a tip out there for the folks out there. If you are looking at books or anything like that, it's not even so much the book's autographed. Autographed books obviously have their value, right? If the book is hand signed, it has a certain value, versus if it's a plate, basically the sticker that they stick inside of it with their autograph on it. The ones that are actually hand signed means they touched it. They literally physically touched that book, versus they just signed a bunch of nameplates and then they stuck that sticker on the inside. The other thing about books is, if you can find first editions or rare editions of these books, there was a website out there, and I'm going to try to get it before next week or before next time's show. There was a website I went out to where you could actually type in a book and it would tell you all the details to look for on that book of what makes it a first edition, along with pictures and everything. Like for the Tom Clancy book, for example, the first edition, on the very back cover, it had all of these like reviews from different publications, like USA Today says this is a modern day thriller for whatever their review was. On the first edition, first printing, there was 6 of them. On subsequent editions, on subsequent printings, there would be 7 or 8. So that's how you knew the difference between the two. But I would never have known that had I not gone to the site. So I'll see if I can come up with that site again. It was a fantastic site. I just don't use it as more because I don't do as much book shopping as I used to. I started to get out of hand.
It's a good reference site.
It is. Sure. It's fantastic.
Harry Potter's. I mean, the popular ones from your you got Harry Potter's, you got Tom Clancy's, Hunt for Red October, and so I don't know books as well as Gary does, but when you come across something that you think might be worth something, that website, I'll put it in the show notes if you can send it to me, and it's a good reference just to help you know if you got the right one or not.
There's another book that I've been on the lookout for ever since I've heard about it, and I've never found it. It's kind of one of those grails, but it's a military thing too, so you guys may find it, but it's called
Mhm.
Sled Driver. It's about the guy that flew the SR-71 Blackbird.
Okay.
It looks like a coffee table book, but it
Mhm.
goes $300-$400.
And what's it called again?
Sled Driver.
Sled Driver. Okay. Haven't heard of it, but I'll be on the lookout for that. Yeah, again, in military, towns, that's pretty good. It's kind of like if you ever find the Jane's books, the Jane's Manual of Military Warships, the Jane's Manual of Military Aircraft, whatever it is. I mean, these reference guides were ones that were used, all the way up to the Pentagon. And so I remember seeing them a lot growing up as a kid, as I grew up as an Army brat. So, in the libraries and all that stuff, you could go there and you could pull these books off the shelf and just read them for hours on different aircraft and stuff like that. So if you ever see anything by Jane's, usually those have pretty good value to them now.
Nice.
Jane's, as in like one
Jane's,
word?
yeah. Janes, yeah. Jane's.
Never heard of that one.
Mm-hmm.
Good deal.
They tend to
All
be
right.
kind of large too, these books. So,
Well, I'm going to be looking at a lot of books here in the near future because I signed up for an Amazon account about a month ago, and that's moving slower than molasses. But we learned it from Buffalo Picker. We've talked to a different couple of people who do Amazon reselling, and one thing I heard over and over and over again is books. Scan the books. Those are the easiest way to get ungated on other products by doing books. So I actually have been scanning a lot of books lately, but I'm setting my margins. I think that's very important in the resale business. Is you need to have a margin that you're happy with. If you're not going to spend $5 to make $2, in my opinion, that's just waste of time.
Right.
So my margin is somewhere around the $18, $19, $20 or higher if I'm going to spend $3 on it, which is our regular hardback book price. But scanning all these books has got me to realize there's a heck of a lot of books out there, and most of them aren't worth crap.
You're right.
Some advice that somebody gave me is that the older ones that don't have an ISBN number barcode, they may have a number, but they don't have an actual barcode to scan. Those actually increase, like you have a greater chance that they might be worth more because of their age and whatnot. And that makes sense because the other day I picked up 3 books and 2 of them didn't have a barcode. So, so for listeners out there, I'll just share that tip with you guys. If you're getting into the Amazon books reselling, my point is these electronics go for a lot more money on Amazon than they do on eBay. Okay. So I look up every electronic on eBay when I'm in the store to comp it out. And if I decide to bring it home, I'm going to sell it on eBay because I'm not ungated in Amazon yet. But I also look it up on Amazon, and I promise you, it's at least double the money, sometimes triple the money on Amazon.
Especially the DVD recorders and combo units are there. It's
ridiculous. So that's my end game. That it's going to take a while to get there. I feel like every time I look up an electronic on the Amazon seller app right now, they want me to provide a receipt or an invoice from a wholesaler that I got it from, which I just don't have. Somebody suggested, well, maybe you should get an invoice. Buy some and get an invoice, and I'm like, that's a lot to pay to get an invoice to get ungated, in my opinion. And I may not even come across that model in the store ever, right? So I'm gonna pay my penance, and take the time and go through the steps to do it necessary. And I'm not gonna cut corners and put myself out of business, if that makes sense. So I started watching a lot of Amazon YouTube videos. Evan, have you got a favorite YouTuber? Who are your favorite YouTubers to watch?
You, of course.
Oh, hey, great answer. Okay, for real. Who do you find yourself? Yeah. Who do you find yourself watching? Like their content just draws you in all the time. I mean, I may not be subscribed to them. I'd like to look at them too.
College Picker was probably my favorite when he was doing more YouTube stuff. He's mainly on Instagram now.
Okay.
But then the old school, Rally Roots, Cincinnati Picker, Lonnie, Shed Flips. guys probably just the older folks like me.
I did see the college picker is who watching his videos is who got me to look at the Zebra thermal printer.
Yeah.
Instead, everybody's buying these Rollos and Dymos, and I was like, that's just too much. If I get into the thermal printing, which I didn't want to get into it for $250, so I found it on his on his YouTube channel that the Zebras are just as good and a third of the price.
He shared one that was it's called an MF label, and it was on Amazon for $56. So I said, for that, I'll try it. I've had it for almost a year now. Never had a problem.
Good deal.
Nice. 4x6 labels, no problem.
Does it have a space in it to hold the labels? I know it can do both. Okay, good. What kind of the Rollos don't have a space for the labels inside like the Zebra does. It holds the spool of labels.
Right.
And on my desk, I was like, where would I put a roll of labels outside of the printer? Right. And I've heard people say they've installed like a toilet paper holder on the back of their desk or on the wall near their desk to put the roll of labels on and then feed it through the Rollo.
Yeah.
You do anything like that?
No, mine's got the little compartment, buy them on a roll and plop it in, and I'm good to go.
Yeah. Did you know do you have a FedEx account?
I do not. I do. And I tried to get labels from them.
Yeah, did you run into an issue?
They actually called me and said, what kind of machine are you using this label for? I said, it's a knockoff Chinese label printer. I said, these are the labels I want. Well, I don't think these labels are going to work for you. You need the such and such labels. Okay, well, send me those.
Yeah.
Well, we can't send you those. We're out of stock. So never got any labels from them.
Have you tried again since? How long ago was that?
I have not. Well, this was like last month. So.
Oh, that was recent, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was gonna say you can get I think it's a roll of 950 or something, close to 1,000 4x6 labels for free. Right. And the account's free. You just have to put in some credit card information to have it on file on the account, so that when you buy labels through their website, they have a way to charge you for them. But I buy them all through eBay, right?
Yeah.
I never got called. I've never been questioned. I've ordered at least 2 rolls.
Yeah, it was weird too, because they called and was like, "This is so and so with FedEx. We're having trouble with your label order."
Well, try again. Maybe they'll help you out this time. But they were free. That's the point of it. They were 950 for free. Now that big roll will not fit in my Zebra printer. So if I needed to, I could feed it from behind it. But I kept the little spools from the old smaller rolls, and so I'll just get my son. I'll pay him like $5. I'll be like, "Hey, roll these labels onto this spool for me," and he'll do it for $5-10. You know, depending on how many he does, right? And to me, it's worth it. I don't have to do it. He gets a little bit of money out of it, so it's all fun and games. I can't get my daughter to take pictures worth of crap. I try to pay her like $1 per item that she pictures, and no, I don't think so.
And how old are yours?
15 and 12.
Oh yeah.
And just the other day, she said, "I need a way to make money."
Amazing, isn't it?
I wonder how you could do that.
Take pictures. She didn't want. I'm telling her. Anyway. I don't know what she wants to do. She's 15. She can't drive yet, so I'm not going to drop her off at a job. It's not time yet. A little too early for that. Are you getting your little ones interested in the whole resale business?
No, they hate it. I say thrift store and they run the other way.
Really?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you try to talk them into going with you by like buying them a new shirt or a toy or a book or something while you're there?
The littlest one, we would go to thrift stores all the time when she was not in school yet. She would just go with me. She would get so much free stuff. She'd pick up a Barbie and play with it, and the person where, "Oh, you just keep that," No, she just doesn't care.
Awesome.
They just rather stay home.
Yeah, but she'd get a free toy almost every time.
Exactly.
Gary, is your boy still getting back into the swing of things with resale?
No.
There was a point in time when he was, right?
There was. He's got his focus in other areas now, and it's like, he wants to find like a steady job and do that, which that's fine. I told him, this is whenever he was working at fast food places. I was like, how much do you make at fast food? And he tells me I make like $8 an hour. And I was like, okay, so by the time you make it, and then the government takes 25%, and you're flipping burgers and burning yourself on the grill and all this other stuff, and having to work all the hours they tell you to work and odd hours and come in this time and work a double. I said, all you'd have to do is walk into the thrift store that, I'm not joking, is literally right next door, and you would be able to double your daily profits in probably as little as 10 minutes, as far as what you're taking home. But,
yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes I wonder, it's like, does it seem like a lot of effort? Is that the roadblock, or is it something, there's an apprehension to it? We've had this discussion before that, I think that you have to have this sort of entrepreneurial spirit that lives inside of you in order to do something like this. I do believe anyone can do it, but I think that you have to be driven to do it, to want to do it, and to look, beyond like, okay, I'm just going to a thrift store. Now you're doing it with the idea of, I'm going to, take these items and flip them for this much money, and then I'm going to put some of that money back, and I'm going to reinvest this and all that. And I think you have to have that entrepreneurial spirit. Otherwise, I don't think it's appealing to you. I think that there are some folks out there that are just totally happy 9 to 5. That's what I want to do. And I don't really want to start a business. I don't want to do anything more than that. And they're happy with that. And God bless them. That's awesome. It's not for everybody. So,
Evan, what keeps you motivated to keep doing it? What do you find in reselling that just brings you to it? What do you enjoy about it the most?
You never know what you're going to find. It's just like Gary just said, some people love the 9 to 5 and the monotony of it. I'm the opposite.
Yeah.
If I had to go to 9 to 5 every day and do the same thing over and over, it would drive me nuts.
Mm-hmm.
With this, I do my own schedule and never know what I'm going to find. May pick up a PlayStation worth $800 for $10.
Yeah, man.
Next day I might find nothing, but who knows? It's a mystery. It's a game.
The thrill of the hunt.
Exactly. Exactly.
I try to encourage my wife to go with me by telling her it's more like treasure hunting than it is shopping.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, with that, I want to wrap it up for tonight. I really appreciate you coming on board with us, Evan, and sharing your stories with us. Is there anything you want to leave with our listeners? Tag a YouTube or Instagram or anything like that?
No. Well, I mean, follow me on Instagram, YouTube, but keep hustling. And if I can help you guys, that's kind of why I started doing this. I love to resell. I have a passion for it. And if I can help share my knowledge, hit me up.
Yep. He's
Sounds
Flippy
great.
McFlipperson on both YouTube and Instagram. It's kind of a unique name. It shouldn't be that difficult to find him.
Yeah, there should only be one result that comes up.
Gary, what about you?
You can find me on Instagram as well as on YouTube. Dixie Overland, which my wife and I are showcasing our 2020 Jeep Gladiator and taking it on adventures, showing you basically the process that we're using to build it. I do mention on there how I take money that I make on eBay and put parts on the Jeep and allow us to go on these adventures, some of which that we've only just started doing, but we have a really cool trip in a couple of weeks where we're going to go to the Outer Banks in North Carolina. And there's an island there on the Outer Banks called Portsmouth Island, which is uninhabited. It is a beach, and you can drive and camp on the beach. So, hopefully the weather is going to be good. You can only get to it by ferry, and there's only one ferry company that takes you out there. So I think it's kind of cool to load the Gladiator up on a ferry that looks just a little bit larger than a pontoon boat.
Yeah.
And sail over to this island to go camping. I mean, I just think that that's something that you'll remember for a long time. But our channel showcases that, and hopefully we make it entertaining at the same time. So Dixie Overland, look us up.
You better make an episode out of that camping trip.
It may be a two-parter.
Good deal. Good deal. And I enjoy seeing Marcy on there too. It's good seeing her on that tailgate and chatting with you.
Oh yeah.
And I am here at BaldyPal Picking on YouTube and BaldyPal Picking on Instagram. You can also find me there on Facebook. Follow me anywhere and everywhere. And thanks so much, everybody, for coming out tonight and listening and participating in the chat. If you haven't subscribed to any of our YouTube channels, please go ahead and do so. You'll find the links in the descriptions below. Y'all have a good night. Appreciate y'all hanging out. See y'all next time.
Awesome, y'all. Take it easy.
Good night.